And that story isolates them. They feel very isolated. If you feel that you're not cutting it, if you're not meeting the standards of performance in school or work, you feel very isolated, you're going to feel rejected, and you're not going to even feel like going out to make friends. And that's how a lot of people feel. They feel like, the metaphor I often use is like it's like taking a drop out of the ocean. When you take a drop out of the ocean and you put it in the glass, what happens? It evaporates. But we're all part of the ocean. We've got to go back in. We may be uniquely precipitated, so to speak, a unique shape, a unique drop, but we can't take ourselves out of it because we're different. We've got to be interconnected with the ocean. We're all connected and we're all unique and we're all different. And ADHD is a unique brain wiring. It does not mean you're broken. And it doesn't mean you're broken, and I use this photo because I was in the building business with my father. Now, you want to talk about a prescription for hell? Take two people working together with undiagnosed ADHD. That was my dad and I. And he dumped all the stuff that I hated to do on me. Okay, but what he did teach me is for a house to be well built, you have to build a very strong foundation. You don't chintz on the foundation. You make the footing wider, you make the footing stronger, because when a weather comes across, it's going to knock it right down. What we're talking about today is strong foundation. Strong foundation of skills, sets, and understanding. Strategies don't work if you don't understand what I'm talking about today. And our natural tendency is to go for tactics. What's the strategy? What's the quick fix? The pill doesn't give you the skill. The pill only puts you on a level playing field if it's diagnosed properly. But these foundational pieces that you're going to learn help you build the foundation so when the turbulence of life shows up, you'll be able to navigate. Your house won't fall down. We got to break the chain. So what we're going to talk about is breaking the chain, because our kids are growing up in a world with more pressure, more performance. Suicide rates are out the yin-yang. They have never been higher than they are before. We have the most affluent societies in the world, and why aren't people any happier? It's because what they're paying attention to, because what you pay attention to will grow, and we have to change the story. This is a foundational piece. This is one of about 10 models we use at the Academy, and I've used this models with every age group to explain how does your brain work, how do beliefs impact it, and what's your mission. That our brains are magical machines, but what fuels the brain are the dominant thoughts that we have in any given moment. The thoughts that you create in any given moment create neurological weight, which is a fancy way of saying you create neurochemicals by the most dominant thoughts that you pay attention to. So when you wake up and your first thought is, I can't, I won't, I never could, that creates negative chemicals which impact your ability to function. It impacts your machine. And we're going to talk about all three of these, the machine in terms of executive function, because it's ADHD that impacts executive function. Okay? I think what Ari said today was right. This is an executive function disorder. But how does ADHD get in the way of those functions is critical. But also being able to pay attention to what you pay attention to in the moment means if a dominant belief doesn't serve you well, you have to be able to ask the question, how is what I am paying attention to serving me? How? I mean, questioning, George brought that up, questioning is very critical, the right kinds of questioning. But can you imagine if every day you had a strong emotion and you felt it and were able to identify and you could pause and say, how is being angry at this person serving me? How is focusing on this negative part of my life serving me? That question is so powerful. It creates the dialogue. How that dialogue occurs, we're going to talk about today. Machine mind. If machine and mind are in harmony, then and only then do you go after your mission. What do I mean by that? We're going to talk a little bit more when we get to the mission. Think about the kids that go to school today. They have no understanding between a need or a value, a standard or a boundary. What are my values? What do I honor? Who am I? How do I define myself? Nobody taught me what a need or a value was in school. I don't know. Did anybody ever come up to any of you and say, hey, what do you need to be yourself? What are your key values in life? That's the mission. And if your machine and mind are not working well, that is, your brain is not connected with beliefs, and we're going to talk about a higher concept, actual knowings of experiences that the machine and mind work in harmony, you're not available to say, who am I? Because you are pressured into performing based on standards that have been shoved down your throat from a young age. You don't give yourself the ability to say, I get to be who I want to be, and you can't make me be who I don't. Muhammad Ali said that when he was named Cassius Clay. You can't make me be who I don't want to be because I get to choose who I want to be. That's a very powerful statement. But kids today don't feel that way. And 57 years of my age, I remember a time when I didn't feel that way. It's gotten worse. We've got to pause and teach our kids that they are the commander of their command center. That they have this command center, but they're the commander of it. They're the boss. And nobody teaches them that.